Welcome to the VedaFoods Health Show with Dr. J. Apte. And today we're going to be talking about eating, the art of eating. So welcome, Dr. J.
Thank you. How are you today, Carly?
I'm doing great. It's a little bit cold here today, but other than that, I'm actually very happy and doing well. So I would love to talk about various aspects of food today. There's so many questions about fasting and the different health lifestyle programs that are out there. So the first thing I'd love to ask you is there's so many different health programs like Atkins diet, paleo diet, zone diet, and I personally don't like the word diet. I prefer releasing weight. So it's just diet sounds so restrictive. But anyways, I'd love for you to share your opinion on what does Ayurvedic think about diets?
Okay, it's a very good question because it's really confusing. Do you know many clients I get and they literally cry in my office and they say, Dr. J, please tell me what I should eat because I try so many of these different plans and nothing is making me feel good. So I said, okay, you are at the right place. Now I will tell you all about Ayurvedic eating plan, and that is exactly fitting like your perfectly fitting clothes. And what I do, so last 3 days we were talking about Vata dosh, Pitta dosh, Kapha dosh, and we were talking about body constitution, that each person has kind of a unique proportion of these 3 doshas, and that determines your body constitution, right? So Ayurvedic eating is based on your own body constitution. And that's why in Ayurveda there is no one set of food that is good for everybody because everybody is so different. And that's what people don't realize, that one size doesn't fit all. You need like a custom made, custom fitting clothes for everybody. The same way the diet is also very different. So Carly, if you remember, we were talking about Vata people, very kind of slim and slender with high energy and creative, intuitive, imaginative people. And if they start eating all these raw food and fasting and all, they will be so miserable. What they should be eating to balance that Vata energy or the wind energy, they should be eating more soups and stews and warm foods and warm herbal teas and lukewarm water and eating all the root vegetables instead of eating salads and cold foods like ice cream and all that, because all these warm and heavy foods balances Vata dosha. And once that happens, they start feeling good. But if the person like Pitta person, very fiery person, we always we talk about type A personality and all. For those people, instead of eating warm foods, they should be transitioning to eating more salads, eating more seasonal fruit, cutting down on spices because they already are very fiery people. So we don't want to add more fire with all the hot spices like ginger and garlic and black pepper and all that. So they should be eating mildly spicy food, cutting down on too much of the salt and all, and more salads and more seasonal fruits and all that. And then the third type is Kapha type, is those people are very sweet and loving and caring and nurturing, but they gain weight so quickly. So they should be eating more dry foods, more light foods, more airy foods, so that makes them feel very light. So Ayurvedic eating is not like one set eating. Ayurvedic eating depends on your own individual body constitution. And let me tell you, Carly, it just fits exactly like right pieces of the puzzle. When you recommend those diets, within a month or two, those people start feeling so grounded and happy and more into balance. So it is fascinating to see when people start eating Ayurvedically, how wonderful they feel, and most of their digestive issues just disappear.
Yeah, so what I like about Ayurveda is the fact, like you said, they actually separate and learn about the person's body. Like when you meet someone, you actually find out about their personality, who they are, etc. So then you find out what dosha they belong in.
Yes.
And what most people don't get is it's like this yo-yo dieting, and they go diet after diet after diet, and they wonder why they don't work. It's because, like you said, it's like chemistry. Certain things just don't work well within someone's body.
Exactly.
And I also like the Ayurvedic lifestyle, because to me a lifestyle is a healthy mindset, and it's a healthy word. When I hear the word diet, I think I'm going to have to restrict myself. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And when you start embracing a lifestyle and you find out more about your body and what your body's needs are, you're not restricting yourself. You can eat. You can, you have a whole plethora of things to kind of find out about it yourself and incorporate those things that work with your body.
Exactly. And many times people say, yes, orange juice doesn't agree with me. When I eat spicy food, I get heartburn. Sometimes people eat salad and I get gas and bloating, because these foods do not work well in their body, and all the symptoms is body's way. Hey, please don't eat all those foods. I don't feel good. But once they know so much about their body, and then they start feeding body with the right foods, it's kind of just happiness around. They really see the difference. So
what I also love about Ayurveda is that we were talking about last time, is that it's mind, body, spirit. And I think those other two components are a huge piece to eating and the lifestyle, because just eating your right foods, too, you have to balance the mind and the body. And that's another thing I love about Ayurveda, because it ties in what exercise would be healthy for you, just whatever spirituality ties in for you. It's a holistic, whole person approach. So I love that aspect.
Exactly. And people don't realize, because they always count the calories, and I just want to eat these many calories. But they don't see how much there is the life in the food. Everybody's so busy, so nobody has time to cook fresh food. And they end up eating like frozen food, and they end up eating canned food, and they eat like whatever they have cooked, but sitting in the freezer for like last 2 weeks or 1 month and all that. But that food doesn't have that life energy we call prana. And when you are feeding your body, you also have to feed your mind. You also have to feed your spirit, because that's what we are all about. We are a human being at the body, mind, spirit level, and that food should nourish your mind. And when you start eating that fresh food, and when you take time and you start eating mindfully, all of a sudden they start feeling more happy, they start feeling more peaceful, and that food satisfies them, so they don't feel like you're constantly munching and all that. Charlie, next time when you eat grapes, I'm going to tell you an experiment, that just eat 1 or 2 grapes while you are working on your computer, whatever you are doing, and then take like 5 minutes and just eat only 1 grape and close your eyes and notice the texture and the flavor and the juice and the color and all, and you will see you become so happy eating only even 1 grape. Okay, so because that is eating mindfully. So you are noticing all those 5 aspects in the food and all, and it is nourishing all your 5 sense organs too. Because we always, when we go to the restaurant, the table is set and there are nice flowers and there is a music in the background. So when we eat food, it's not only eating by mouth, but we are eating food with our eyes and eating food with our nose, and even eating food with our ears. And you may say, how are you going to eat food with your ears? Think about when you are eating chips, those chips have to be crunchy. If those chips are not crunchy, they don't taste good. If you are eating like oatmeal cookie, it should be chewy cookie. It should not be tough. When you are eating popcorn, it should be light and dry and crunchy popcorn. Then only you are going to enjoy that food. So you are literally eating with all your 5 senses. And for that, we have to take time. And when we do that, we are nourishing our body and mind and spirit, because we are feeding our body with the fresh food. Isn't it like
a really good point? And the one thing, a lot of the criticism is, well, I don't have enough money, so I have to eat canned foods, food that's full of preservatives and it's frozen. And what people don't realize, and I'm going to tie this into just what you said, when we eat slower, when we eat mindfully, we eat less because we feel fuller and satiated. Our mind and our senses feel satiated. So you can buy fresh food. You can buy the healthier food because you're eating less. We tend to eat more of all the garbage because we're either shoving it in our mouths, we're not mindfully eating, and we're eating while we're doing all these other things, and so you never really feel like you're full. So we're actually eating more food, unhealthy food, versus if we just did what you said, eat mindfully, pay attention to the sounds, the colors, the textures, and we will feel fuller faster. So we wind up eating less than more. So actually, price-wise, it actually balances out. And I have found that myself when I've attempted, just different experiments. It's really fascinating that what you said is just so true.
Yeah. So see what happens, we always think about more the better. But when we eat, it is less the better. Because when we eat food, our body processes all that food, and when our digestive enzymes are strong enough, then they are going to build more tissues on the body, and we are going to feel more energy. But we always think that I have to eat that, you have to do that. And always think about these days, when people eat, where are they eating? They're eating at their desk. Okay? When they eat while they are running the errands, they just take a bite. When during a lunch hour, they are exercising and they come and they just kind of gobble their food and all that. So we literally don't pay attention to that. And remember, Carly, it's a very serious but important question, that why are we working so hard? Why are we running around 24 hours a day just to enjoy our life and eat good food and all? And we don't spend even 10 minutes doing that.
So true.
Yeah. So if we really set the priorities, and if we take, okay, eating is so important for me, then I'm going to keep that half an hour for myself, and I'm literally sit down and eat mindfully and enjoy that food. And it's a totally life-changing experience. And people really have, when they follow this, they really see the change in them, and they feel more happy and more satiated.
What is your views? Right now there's a very big trend in our culture to eat very often and eat small meals. What is your views on that?
Okay. Ayurveda has a very different view about it. These days, small, frequent meals. So you have to eat every 2 hours. And people say that makes so much sense. So I can munch food, I can have all the candies and chocolates and all those kind of things. But let me ask you, Carly, like how long, do you know how long does it take to digest the food, go through all your digestive system? It takes about 5 to 6 hours. Anything you eat, it sits in your stomach for hour and a half, in your small intestine, for a couple of hours, in your colon, for hour and a half and all that. So it takes 5 to 6 hours to digest the food. Then what's going to happen when you are going to eat again after 2 hours? It doesn't get digested well. So I ask people, when do you eat? And they say, whenever I feel like eating, I just end up eating something like a junk food or chips, crackers, pretzels, candies, cookies, ice cream, cake, something. But they never talk about, no, I take time to eat. So if you really, Ayurvedic view is eating only 3 meals a day. Lunch, breakfast, lunch and dinner. So those 3 meals. And in between, if you feel hungry, you can just eat a fruit, or you can eat unsalted nuts. And those are only handful, not like a big bowl full. But main meals are only 3. And again, if you want to try that for 1 week, you will be amazed by how your tummy is feeling and how your digestive system is working. Because when you wait for 5-6 hours, you feel hungry. And do you know, when I ask people, have you experienced hunger? And they said, what is hunger? We never wait till we feel hungry. We don't know how does it feel to feel hungry, because we are constantly eating and munching and all that. Food goes in our system frequently and many times of the day. And that causes many problems. And remember, Ayurvedically, your weak digestion and lot of toxins in your digestive system causes so many of the diseases. So always, it could be skin problem, it could be heart problem, it could be emotional problem, it could be arthritis. We always look at what's happening in your digestive system. And that is so powerful. So Ayurveda says mainly eat 3 meals, and that also not heavy breakfast. It should be light breakfast, good lunch, and light dinner. And if you feel hungry, just eat a fruit in between instead of mixing the fruit with your food.
So that ties into,
Mhm.
I have two questions then. So that ties into juicing. So what if someone's juicing? Would they juice more often, or does that still take the same amount of digestion process? And what are your thoughts on juicing?
Okay, the first thing is juicing, and all these new fads come because there are the gadgets. We have that bullet making the juices, and they always say that yes, people are not eating vegetables and all the fruit and the peel and the seeds and all that. So when they make a juice, they get all the nutrients and all that. But tell me, Carly, when you just juice it, how much time do you take to drink that juice? Maybe a minute or two. And if you are eating a whole apple or whole orange, or you're chewing like a big chunks of watermelon and all, your digestion starts in the mouth. Okay? So you take time to eat that food. And then your whole digestion takes time and it improves your digestion. Second thing is juicing is very cold. That cold is worse for our digestive system because it puts off your digestive fire or weakens your digestive enzyme. So that is not good. And what about other nutrients? Remember, all the fruits and vegetables are good because they have a lot of vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals, but they are not macronutrient. Macronutrient is mainly the carb and protein and fat. And body needs those macronutrients. But when you end up juicing, you do not get that. Then people start feeling very weak and they say, boy, what's happening? So they have to eat kind of a balanced meal. If they drink juice, maybe once in a while, that's okay. But I always recommend people to eat a whole fruit or all the vegetables and all as a part of the meal rather than just juicing.
So that would lead to, we talked about juicing. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on the raw food movement. You know, a lot of people just want to eat raw food. They don't want to eat cooked food and, you know, all that. So how does that tie into Ayurvedic lifestyle, and what are your thoughts on eating raw foods?
Yeah, so that is also the big topic. I get a lot of clients that they said in the beginning I feel so good when I moved to raw food dieting, but now it is causing me such a digestive issue. So what is happening? So what happens, and there the theory is maybe our ancestors or animals do not cook food. Why do we have to cook food and all that? But their enzymes, digestive enzymes, and our digestive enzymes are very different. So we can process only the food that is kind of cooked enough so body can digest it well and absorb it well. And that's why in the beginning they feel good because in raw food they're eating a lot of vegetables and fruits and all that. But later on, eating all those raw vegetables and all aggravates vata dosha. And because of that, they start getting gas and bloating and they get constipated. And do you know, for our bone tissue, the vata dosha is related to bone. And then because it weakens the bone, they start losing their hair. They start losing their teeth. Their nails start becoming very brittle and all. So we don't realize that is the effect of raw food dieting on their bone, which may cause osteoporosis, osteopenia. They start losing hair, teeth start falling and all that. So anything in extreme is not good at all. You can eat some raw foods, like when you eat a fruit, you are eating raw food. But all the meal, rest of the part, like your protein and your carb and all, that has to be cooked.
So what I would think to say is that everything is balanced. And as our society in general, we tend to be extremists. It's like, I'm going to eat nothing, or I'm going to eat a ton of food, or I'm going to exercise like crazy, or I'm not going to exercise at all. So what you just said, I think, is really important, that yes, you can eat some raw foods, and at the same time, make sure you're also getting the warm water with the lemon, and and eating some soups or some other warm things, not just make it one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing I'd love to ask you about, because this is also a big trend, is what is your opinion on fasting?
Yeah, I was going to say that fasting is very, very important. But again, Carly, remember what we talked about, that in Ayurveda, the main thing is that person's body constitution, what your proportion is. Because if Vata people, that wind type people, if they start fasting a lot, they cannot do it. Okay? If Pitta people want to fast, they can fast on eating more fruits. When Kapha people can fast, they can easily skip a meal. So everything that depends on what your body constitution is. Second thing, people ask, okay, how many days should I fast? There is no one rule of thumb telling everybody. That depends. I tell people, when you fast, when you give some time to your system to digest all that leftover food, then when all your digestive system is completely empty, then you feel hungry. So when you feel hungry, you should start eating again, and not just kind of fast for like 2 days, 3 days and all. If you fast excessively, what happens? All the tissues body uses as a energy, because food is not coming in. Body breaks down all the tissues, and people start feeling very, very weak, feeling very fatigued. So you should not go in that state. But the sign of that you fasted, well, you feel lighter and you feel more energy, and your mind is more open, and the mind becomes, your thinking becomes more clear. When that happens, definitely all the toxins have been digested, so you are ready to eat again. So fasting is very important, and depending on your personality, I would recommend people to do that fasting at least once a week or so. So Carly, let me ask you one question. Like every day you are getting so many files in, sitting in your inbox, right? And one day, maybe for Easter holiday or something, your new files are not coming. So say, well, how do you feel? Okay, today I have time to work on all that big stack which is sitting on my table because nothing coming in, right? The same thing happens to the body. When you just rest, when you zip your lips for time being, then body says, okay, now let me use all this time and the energy and those digestive enzymes to digest all that leftover food, so I feel good. Okay, so that fasting is very good. Fasting is works very well for our system and our health, but everything that depends. I cannot tell you one good way of fasting or how many days of fasting, because that depends on every individual.
So I think we've covered a lot on food today. I would like to save for next episode, because I think this is going to be a bigger topic. I'd love to talk about seasonal eating, but I think I'm going to save that for next one so we don't bombard people so much with so much information. And I think we'll talk about oils next time and seasonal eating, because oils are really important. That's a whole nother subject that people have no clue about. And seasonal eating, I think, is something else that people are always curious about. And then we'll tie those two together.
Okay.
But I think today, because we've given such a wealth of information, I want them to be able to digest it. So
you eat food for half an hour and you take time to digest it for 6 hours. So
yeah, it's amazing information. We need time to process, integrate, and then go out and do those things. So as usual, it's actually been a joy to have you. Everyone, we would really love your questions so we know what you want to learn about and what you want to hear about. Please make sure you go to hnwellness.com and check out and learn all about Dr. J. You can always find me at carlylyssathorne.com, and that's Carlylyssathorne.com. As always, I put together an entire blog post that has the embedded video, has the embedded podcast, has all of our information, and we really look forward to spending more time with you next week. So for today, we'll leave you. We wish everyone a wonderful day.
Thank you, and have a great day.